Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and I have a flip through video of a burlap journal today. So before I get to this flip through, I wanted to show you some of these supplies, or these supplies that I use to make this journal, so that as we're going through it, you kind of have an idea of what I use. So I'm going to set it to the side here. And I wanted to show you the base of it first. So I don't recall if I found this or these at Hobby Lobby or at Michael's. I worked at Michael's for a bit, and they had a lot of burlap stuff and some fabric type journals that I picked up, but I don't remember if that was specifically from there or if I got it from Hobby Lobby, because I also recall that Hobby Lobby went through a period of having a lot of like burlap collections, and so it might have been there also. However, I've had them in my stash for a really long time. I liked them when I saw them, but I had no idea what I was going to use it for. So they have been hanging out, as you can see. They're pretty gnarly, but they've been hanging out here for a while, and then I finally figured out how to use them. So I did do a quick search to see if it was something that I could find again, and I was not successful. However, I think that it's something that can be made fairly easily. So looking at the construction of this, it appears that it's just two pieces of burlap that have been cut down and stitched together around. You can see the thread around here. And then they were layered. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 pieces after they were stitched. So it was 4. So I guess it was eight individual pieces. They're stitched together to form 4 pieces, and then they were stitched right down the center. So you can see here, stitched down the center. So I think that it'd be fairly easy to make. And honestly, I think I may try this, because I would also be able to do my own ribbon, because I don't really like the cord with it, but it's already stitched in, so I'm kind of stuck with it. But if I were doing it myself, I would choose a different type of a closure instead of this this cord, this jute. It's pretty thick, so I would definitely use something else. Anyhow, this is what it looks like. I cleaned it up quite a bit along the edges and stuff, as you'll see. But that's what it is. And like I said, if you know where to get these, I would love to know. I have no idea where I got it. And again, I would love to get it online if I could. But like I said, I did some searches and couldn't find anything. The size of these, it's about 6.5 by about 6.25. So it's nice. It's probably about 6.25 by 6.25, I would think. It's not super even. No, it's 6.5. They're not super even, so it's not, you know, it's kind of hard to tell, but roughly about 6.25 to 6.5 inches. So anyhow, I wanted to show you that because it's really different. It's not something that I've seen a whole lot of. I don't do a lot of fabric type things, but when I saw it a long time ago, I had to have it, and then there you go. My daughter has already asked me to do the next journal in a scarecrow theme, because she's like, this reminds me of like a scarecrow's hat. So you've got to do the next one in a scarecrow theme. So I'm looking for some digitals with scarecrows, because I don't have any scarecrow paper. So I'm definitely on the lookout for some cute digitals with some scarecrows. And in a recent haul video, I picked up this 49 in Market vintage orchard paper. And so it's a 6x8 collection pack. There were 24 sheets total. I used up a lot of it. So they're title pages are always used. They're always printed on the back, so you can always use them. So this is what I have left, the full sheets. And then these two I didn't use at all. And then that one's the back cover. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of that 24 pack, and then the 2-inch sheets is what's left. And then there's a partial page here. I did some cutouts of that. Here are some larger pieces, and then they go to smaller pieces here. And I'll probably just end up doing like some card making. So this is all the extras that were cut off to make the pages and everything. You'll see as we go through. But along with this, and it was kind of ephemera overload for me, because when I was in the store, I picked up and If you want to see all of these in detail, I have a haul video where I went through and showed these, but I picked up the matching laser cut elements. And there were a lot of them. I don't remember the total of these anymore, and I don't think I have the card that said, but anyway, there were a lot of them. I went ahead and punched them all out because it was just easier that way than messing with these because they're kind of clumsy, but the laser cut elements are just fantastic. But then I also had the matching 96 die cut shapes that go with this collection. So I just kind of pulled everything out, got all the laser cuts unstuck, and just kind of laid it out. And it was so much that I was a bit overwhelmed. So I tried to keep it pretty simple as far as what I used. I went through here, and to kind of declutter and organize, I pulled out the things that I wasn't going to use that were more like if I was doing scrapbook, like Thankful, Gather, Family, the big title things, the little signs or the little tabs that say this day and good times and gather here, things like that, best time, best ever, those things that kind of lend themselves more towards a photographs, towards a scrapbook page or something. I went ahead and just, or like a chipboard album that you would put photos in, I moved all those aside. So that cleaned it up significantly, and then I was able to better organize what I was going to use. And then last but not least, I wanted to show you this because you're going to see it throughout, and I wanted you to see it. So while I was making, I know it looks terrible. It looks terrible, but I promise you, it is the best thing ever. So I've been watching a lot of videos, YouTube videos. I always do when I'm in here, watching other crafters, and I've been noticing that a lot of people are using the vintage looking tape. And so I was like, when I was doing this journal, I was like, I need just a little something. It needs just a little something. And I was like, you know what? This is kind of fall themed. It's a little bit grungy. I need some of that vintage tape. I pulled up a real quick tutorial. I'll see if I can find the tutorial that I used, and I'll link it because it was super quick, super easy, and it worked for me. And so I think it was, I think it would work really well for you as well. There isn't a lot of variation, but I had, and it's so super simple, super simple. So I took some wax paper, and then I took my packing tape. I put out 2 strips on the wax paper. I pulled out some of my alcohol inks, and I used caramel on the bottom and got it coated. It wasn't as dark as I kind of wanted, so then I put ginger on top of that. I left it overnight to dry last night, and then this morning I came in, and look at what I've already used. So it's from here to here where my thumbs are. And that was the same here. And I had already started cutting, and I think I've got this much left. It goes out to here, so I've got a tiny bit left, but it pulls right off of this paper, the wax paper, and then you can cut it into the strips and sizes that you need. There are all kinds of tutorials on how to do this, but I wanted you to see it because it does feature in this album quite a bit, but also I love it. And I think I'm going to be using this a lot. So it will be in a lot of future projects. So just heads up on that. And so now I would like to go ahead and do the flip through. So I did do a dry brush in my gesso on all these pages just to kind of stiffen them up a little bit before I went in and put my my paper on. So you can see they're pretty floppy. They end up being extremely sturdy with all the pages and stuff on it. But like I said, I just did a dry brush with the gesso on there to kind of stiffen it up. This is corrugated cardboard piece that I had. I put a little dry brush gesso. I inked the edges in walnut stain. And then I took my black soot and just kind of wiped it across and picked up some of those edges. I did a torn paper layer here from the collection, and I inked up the edges of this one, and the green one, in black soot, and then I inked up the edges of this one in the walnut ink. I had some crocheted lace scrap left over, and then these are all just elements that are part of the ephemera kit that I placed on here. I inked the edges and placed them here. I did a little bit of stamping on them. This is that tape. That vintage tape I was telling you about that I was just showing you, that's that. So I just tore it up, kind of made it grungy looking, and then put it on top. I really like the way that turned out. I had some lace And it was this lace that I planned on using, but you can see it's pretty thin. It's probably about 1.5 inches. And when I finished this book, it was only coming to about here. And it wasn't enough to really wrap around the spine. So I ended up just turning it on its side, and I ended up doing, and I thought, oh, you know what'll look really cute is if I do this and I kind of stagger, you know, the lengths. So it kind of staggers and it adds kind of to that grungy feel. I didn't think it through because I did that. And then when I put my topper on, I was like, oh, wait a second, it covers it all up. So now it just looks like, you can't really tell that I did that. So it looks a mess. So these look like they're actually kind of even, the bottom here and the top here. And I didn't glue those down. I kind of left them loose, you know, just adds a little something to it. So I decided to stagger the back. That way the back was, you know, looked a little bit more staggered and unintentional or whatever. So like it was just kind of thrown together. So I just took those strips kind of at varying lengths and then put them down with the Fabri-Tac. You can see the dry brush here. And like I said, using that gesso dry brush, it just kind of stiffens it up a little bit. This is the little tag I've placed so I can put my name and my mark on it later, so that everybody knows who made it when I pass it on to whomever. So let's open it up. Like I said, don't love this cording. I might end up trimming it down and making it a little bit shorter, but here we go. Here's the Vintage Orchard. So I just cut these pages down and glued them on. I did use Fabri-Tac to glue everything on. This was one of the elements that was in there, and I just made a little journaling card with it, and that's a tuck spot up there with those little banners. Some of the parts I left plain because you can write on these pages. You can also write on these pages, so I let the paper itself speak for the journal instead of trying to do everything. Just a little tag. There's more of that tape here and here. Did a little stamping, added a little butterfly on the top of it. It tucks right in there. Next page. I loved this, and I loved this tree, so I used a frame from the collection to kind of frame up that tree, and there's more of that vintage tape in there and some more of the elements. There's a journal card in here. You can pull out, be able to journal on that. And then on this side, I did a belly band with this lace. I thought that was pretty, and then put these elements at the bottom. It's not glued down except down here at the bottom, so it's loose up there, so you can slip things in and out, and they'll go down pretty far. So you can add additional things, and this right here was just another little journaling card. That will go in there. And then here, scattered leaves. There's more of that tape. I told you I was really excited about this tape. Some journaling cards. I stamped that. I stamped approved. It looks like little old library cards. You can journal on the back. Here's an actual tag. More of that tape. I told you it's in here everywhere because I absolutely fell in love with this. So another journaling card. I stamped this tree. I chose just a few stamp collections to use. Some with the trees, some with the some with some leaves, and I really kind of stuck with those. I didn't do a ton of stamping outside of that. It was just something that would help bring everything together. Another journaling card. I did use some coffee dyed paper on some of these to back them. Put them back in, because if I don't, I will never know where they go again. I have to watch my video to figure out where to put them back. Okay, and on this side, I just did a tuck spot over here. It says fall, fall. You journal on the back. It tucks right in here. And this little guy is an embellishment that I added. There's another tag for journaling and more of that tape. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty. I absolutely love it. I'm telling you. It's going to be on everything. I'm putting it on everything. Another library type card. I marked approved on all of these where it says remark. I don't know why. I love that little stamp, so I was just stamping that. You're going to start seeing that stamp on everything too. But then these little fall leaves, I put those on there. And then this one, I wanted to kind of mirror what we do here. So these are two tuck spots on this. This is a little journaling card here. It tucks up there. This one that says Harvest Fields Apple Picking. Another little tuck spot there. It's got the little red leaves on it. Isn't that cute? And then these are just paper clipped on. So these little elements can come off. You can write on the back, do your own stamping, or just use the paper clips to put other things in there. You can also put things in on this side where it's a little hidden. There's a tuck spot here and another pocket over here. This one has a journaling card in it. I didn't put anything on the opposite side because I'm like, I'm going through it and I was like really doing it up. And I was like, no, I have to force myself to step back and actually leave room for people to add their own touches to it as well. So that was a bit of a challenge. So you can see where I started scaling back, right? I started pulling back a little bit and I'm like, okay, spots for the actual owner of the journal to do things. This isn't mine. Autumn. That's one of the stamps I have and I absolutely love it. And I think it's from a close to my heart. Is it close to my heart? I think it's close to my heart. Stamp. And then that tape. I'm telling you, that tape, it was a game changer for me. I added an apple to that journaling card. And here, I told you, everywhere. And then I have that tag there with that leaf and that tape. And that leaf is a die cut that I used on a different project. And I've just, I pulled those out because I thought they looked really nice with this one. So here's more of that paper. And honestly, this paper is so gorgeous. It just speaks for itself. It doesn't need a whole lot. I added one of those trees to this card and approved again. And then here's another little journaling card. I added just some of the ephemera as a tag. And it slips right in here. So lots of journaling space that's hidden and tucked away, but then also some journaling space in these open spots. On this one, I have this guy. Nice little journaling card. I'll slip right back into that pocket. And then this is a little pocket. And I did stamp that leaf on there. And then I have just this little cluster of tags. I put it on one of the little bulb pens. And it says fall days. And then this guy's blank. And then this guy's blank. And then this little tag has a butterfly on it. And then there's a little tag with leaves. You can journal on them or whatever. And I was just putting just the larger one in that pocket and letting the rest of them just kind of dangle. This bulb is getting turned away. But I haven't had any problems with it like closing it lace flat. So not a problem. And then on this side, I added another little pocket in the red. It's a little bit larger. And there's that autumn again. I loved that stamp. And then I ended up taking some of the paper and made just a little writing booklet. And this page tore while I was hand tearing everything. So I put some of that tape over it. Hello. So then I had to put it on the front. Was the highlight. So I just used my tiny attacher to, I scored here on this paper and cut these or hand tore these down to size. So it's just a mixture of some dyed papers and some coffee. This is tea and distress stain ink paper that's been dyed and then coffee paper that's been dyed. So I just mixed them in there. Several pages for journaling or doing whatever, and then the back page there. And then I attached another piece of paper here just for the back of these tiny attachers so it wouldn't scrape up the paper while you were inserting it in and out. And then on this pocket, I'm just inserting this back page into the pocket, and so the rest of these are nice and loose over this pocket. I thought that was really cute. And then over here, I put a label here, but I left it blank so someone can add their own message if they want to handwrite or stamp something. I was getting into it. I was loosening up. There's an apple journaling card with some coffee dyed paper on the back. There's a little tag for journaling. Here's another tag for journaling, and there's some of that tape. I know you guys are shocked. Here's another tag for journaling. So I wasn't aware of what this was. I got this in a haul video. I think it was a Facebook Marketplace haul, and it wasn't labeled, so I didn't know what it was. And so I had to look it up because I knew it was a tag. So when I punched it out, I was like, oh, well, I'll figure it out because it's got this weird little indentation in the center, right? And then I punched it out and I'm like, because I thought maybe it had kind of flipped up and folded over and made its own, you know, pull, its own tabs. And I was like, no, it's not. And then it dawned on me, so I started doing some searches, that it is a bread tag. You know how you have the bread wrappers? It has the little tag on it. You kind of flip it out. That's what it is. So it'll attach to something, you know, like that. So it would hang on it. And so I was able to find some, but I was like, oh, okay. So I went ahead and decorated and stuck with it because I was like, it's interesting. It's new. It's different. I hadn't seen it before. Now I have. And I thought that was really cool. So I added that in there, but I thought it was neat. And then on this page, I left it open for journaling. I put this little skeleton leaf here. It's a little bit shiny. I don't know if you can see that. If it's catching, there you go. You can see it. It's a little bit shiny. It's a little skeleton leaf. And then it just says filled with gratitude. And then there we go. The end. That is it. I absolutely love it. It feels fantastic, even with all those elements in there. It's not really like an alligator mouth. It's so flexible still. It feels really good. The different textures feel great because you've got the softness of the crochet here, of the crocheted lace, and then you've got, you know, the feeling of the paper, but then you can still feel the roughness of this burlap, but it's also extra rough because of the stiffness that's been added by this gesso that's on there. So it feels fantastic. I'm a very tactile crafter. I'm the one that they have to put the do not touch signs up for because I want to touch everything. I want to feel it. I want to feel all the textures and everything. So so I really liked that it has a lot of texture. A lot of my projects tend to have a lot of texture because I enjoy that. Anywho, that is it. That's my first little fall journal for the year. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed already, please consider doing so. If you have subscribed, I absolutely love you. I appreciate your support of my channel. And if anyone has any questions about the techniques that I used or any of the products that I used, please let me know. Just put it down in the comments and I'm happy to answer any questions. And until next time, bye.